What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video here on Peg City Hockey. Now, today we're going to be talking about another trade that could potentially go down with the Winnipeg Jets as we get closer and closer to the NHL trade deadline. We've already talked about Jonathan Toews. We've talked about the fire sale that's going to be happening with the Vancouver Canucks and how they could potentially look at maybe Connor Garland, Brock Besser, or even Bo Horvat. And today we're going to be looking at another Pacific team that has drawn a lot of ties already with the Winnipeg Jets and trade talks, and that is the San Jose Sharks, and in particular, Timo Meier. Now, today we're going to be referring to an article that was published on January 20th by Scott Bielek over on the Winnipeg Sun, talking about this trade in particular and about why it could be a dream move for the Jets if they could get it done. And it really got me thinking about, would Timo Meier be the perfect fit for this club for now and for the long-term future, because Timo Meier is going to need a deal. He has a qualifying offer at the end of this year that I believe is $10 million, because if you don't remember, he signed that very heavy contract a few years back with the high qualifying offer, and because of that, that's the whole reason really why he might be traded in the first place, is because San Jose really can't afford him, and with the way that they are right now at the bottom of the leagues, trading him probably is a good option for return. And yeah, so basically, Timo Meier, would it work for the Winnipeg Jets? But before we really jump into this, make sure to subscribe for all things Winnipeg Jets as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline and the NHL playoffs. So with all that being said, let's go and jump over into the article a little bit and talk about Timo Meier. Now, obviously, Meier creates a lot of offense right here. His game is very similar to Nikolai Ehlers in that sense. They're very skilled forwards in that area. I would say that their puck handling is similar. Obviously, Ehlers is the better skater and can better with zone entries, but they have a very similar skill set. And why wouldn't they? They were teammates back in juniors where they put up stellar numbers with the Halifax Mooseheads in the QMJHL, which we'll talk about in a little bit on why it also makes a lot of sense. But it's just a very, very good article where it goes in depth talking about why it would make a lot of sense, going into his stats and whatnot. But basically, let's jump into the meat of this video. What would it take to bring him here? So basically, what Scott's saying is that the daily faceoff compared to the possible return for Meier, similar to what Chicago got at the trade deadline for Alex DeBrincat last year with the Ottawa Senators. And that trade was a first and a second in the same draft, plus a third in the 2024 draft. Now, all right, can the Winnipeg Jets actually make this happen? Could they go out and trade for Timo Meier? Let's talk about that now, because we all know Timo Meier is a great player. Actually, before we really get into it some more, I'll show you guys his stats just so you can see. He's been very, very consistent. His NHL career, 442 games played, 150 goals, 161 assists for 311 points. Last year, he was his career year with 76 points was his career year last year. He's on pace for that again, and if not some more, with 47 already in 48 games, having a stellar season out there with the Sharks. And I just think it would make so much sense to bring him in, especially as I want a winger for this top six. I think that's what they really need. And then you can look at moving out Dubois when it comes to contract talks eventually. But I think right now what they need isn't a center, it's a winger to add to this. So obviously his stats speak for themselves, but let's just talk about, can the Jets actually pull this off? Right now, for this year's draft, upcoming draft, they currently have their first round pick, a third round pick, 2 fifths, and a 7th. They don't have their second or their fourth or their 6th. So what do you do to make this trade? Well, obviously, the big thing that will be in play this year, I think, is the Jets' first round pick. And now I know you guys probably don't want that to happen. It's a very deep draft, I know, but I look at this year's draft and I see where the Jets could potentially picking. It's going to be in the mid-20s to even high 20s potentially. So would you rather go have an all-in type move made at the deadline that could really help propel this team to another deep run where we might make the conference final, or even, God forbid, the Stanley Cup, knocking on wood, that I don't jinx it right here, because I think this team can do a deep run this year, and I think that when you look at the contracts, when the guys expiring, the Hellebuck window shutting, the cap that you're going to have to deal out to a lot of guys when they need their new contracts, not to mention just Wheeler, aging out and probably retiring as it is at the end of his deal, what do you do, I think Meier would make a lot of sense. Right now, he's in a spot where he gets traded to, he will need a new contract, so why not go for a guy that's 26 years old, is kind of coming into his prime? That would be a awesome addition to this team. And not only would it be an awesome addition to this team because he's a great player, but because of his relationship with Nikolai Ehlers. Like I said already, in 2013 and 14 season with the Halifax Mooseheads, Ehlers put up 104 points. That same season, you had 34 points being put up by a rookie Timo Meier that didn't really play that much with Ehlers. It was the following year after, in 2014-15, 2015 in 51 games played, where Ehlers put up 37 goals, 64 assists for 101 points, and Timo Meier, being his line mate, put up 44 goals, 46 assists for 90 points, his junior high. Their best season ever of the pros came playing together with their second highest point total. Ehlers had 3 more points the year before that, but I would say that he had a more complete year that year with the way he passed and developed all his other skills, putting up 64 assists. So you already have this great relationship. Should I even not to bring up the fact, the iconic video of them listening to ABBA before a road trip? I'll roll it.
Is that the ABBA?
Yeah.
What is? Yeah. Are they Swedish? Are they not?
They're Swedish, yeah.
Okay.
Who wouldn't want those two guys having the ABBA playlist and all that stuff kind of going on in the arena when they're scoring goals and getting assists on each other's goals? The memes would be glorious. I would love that. They're friends, so why not make it happen? They always are buddy-buddy when they run into each other outside of the arena, and they play the Sharks or whatnot. They're always talking. So, bringing in guys that are good for the locker room, that are with the younger guys. Ehlers being 26 right now. You want to keep Ehlers healthy right now and get him going, because look how good he's been in 17 points in 12 games since coming back in the injury. He's been one of the best forwards the entire year already in just 12 games. So it's just so important to make the right decisions right now. And I think that if you're looking for a trade, long-term is the best solution, because you're getting value there. You don't know what's going to happen to Dubois. So I think if you're going to make a move and you're going to spend the first-round pick and you're going to go out there and make some trade, I say that's what you go for. I think you make that first-round pick. Maybe you throw in a prospect. Maybe you throw in a Dylan Sandberg, I don't know. Maybe you throw in a Declan Chisholm, who's having a fantastic year down there with the Manitoba Moose, who was just named an AHL All-Star for the team. We have our third-round pick, so maybe you throw in the first this year and a third, I don't know. Brendan Dillon can go back potentially if you're moving cap for that situation, because let's be real, Brendan Dillon is good, but Ville Heinola, or even let's be real, there's a lot of guys that could play that role. Ville Heinola, Dylan Sandberg, Logan Stanley, Kyle Campbell-Bianco is good depth as well, so him moving up and having to play a couple more games here and there wouldn't hurt this team. I just think that there's ways you can make this team even better, and I think even in the future, and I think Timo Meier could be that guy. I really think that when you look at long-term value of trading for a guy at the deadline, you want to get more than just a rental out of him, especially if you're giving up top assets. That's what you're going to have to do for a guy like Meier. There's going to be a lot of other teams interested, but if the Jets can convince him to sign, I say you go all in and make that move. Timo Meier could be a great addition to this club and could really mesh well with the forward core going forward into the future, as well as with the prospects. But again, I'm just one guy. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on all these rumors. Do you think that it makes sense? Do you think the Jets should pursue this? Do you think we're all just blowing smoke up our butts and we don't really think there's a chance here and it's all just talk? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. As always, really do appreciate your thoughts, as well as to Sharks fans that might be watching this video. What do you want to see off the Jets roster with their prospects and whatnot coming back in a trade potentially? I'd love to hear what your guys' value is within yourselves as a fan base for Meier. Let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Follow all my socials down in the description below and check out all the other affiliated links. Have a great rest of your day. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Go Jets, go, and I will see you guys in the next one.